From certain enemies to masks and Shikaisen, whatever the bloody hell that is. Hello, Magi here, and welcome back to another episode of Interesting Touhou Facts, the series where I talk about facts from Touhou that I find either fun, unusual, or simply interesting. So without further ado, let's begin the Interesting Touhou Facts number 59. Number 5. So when you're fighting Sega in 10 Desires, there's something you might not have noticed. Even though Sega is the one calling out the spell cards, Yoshika is the one who's really firing the majority of the Damaku. What a slacker you are, Sega! During such, her focus is mostly resurrecting Yoshika every time she becomes disabled. There's another weird thing about it though. Whenever Sega is resurrecting Yoshika, her sprite appears to be changing colors like it's having a seizure. Let me show ya! Sega isn't the only one who does this though. Kanako's color also tends to change rapidly as well. The quickness in the color change almost makes it look like she's at a rave. Oh boy, a rave at Gensokyo. I wonder how that would turn out. Number 4. In the last episode, I mentioned that Miko was able to hear the 10 desires of people. Apparently, this power allows her to see in the past. Kinda. Let me explain. When Miko meets with Reimu in 10 Desires, in their conversation, Miko says, "I've looked back to before you were born to watch you." I ain't going to lie, that sounds fucking creepy, but I digress. Miko also says that she can learn much from Reimu, but also comments that everyone can learn something. While it does sound creepy from one end, it's nonetheless intriguing that Miko was able to look in the past of Reimu's life. Hell, even before said person was born. Not everyone can say that. Number 3. For those who didn't play Hopeless Masquerade and didn't know how the incident started, it was caused by Kokoro because she didn't have all her masks. The one she was missing prior to the game was her Mask of Hope. Without her Mask of Hope, she was funneling out the emotion hope from the humans in the village. To sum it up quickly, after the events, Kokoro doesn't need her Mask of Hope anymore and is learning to rely on her own emotions. That's all good, but the question remains is, where did the bloody Mask of Hope go? Well, it appears that a Satori has it, and I ain't referring to the one that's literally named Satori. Koichi has Kokoro's original Mask of Hope, and the interesting thing is that it resembles a Jizo statue. Kokoro did try to replace her mask prior to her story mode by using other masks like ones from the festival, which aren't exactly effective, and even a mask created by Miko, which ironically was too effective that Kokoro would cease to be a yokai if she continued to wear it. At the very least, there was a happy conclusion towards Kokoro's story, which is good. Number 2. Now Mamizo is a pretty cool gal. She's able to hang with Reimu when Reimu isn't in the exterminating mode, and she's even shown to be quite friendly with the human bookworm, Kozuzu. But it appears that Mamizo has some issues with a certain being. It's mentioned that Mamizo doesn't get along with Kitsune, which would state that there are no Kitsune in Sado. Sado is her home before she came to Gensokyo. It's said that if she encounters one, there would be trouble. Oh shit! I smell a grudge match of some sorts. Now I really want to see Mamizo and Ran meet in the future. If the hate is as real as I mentioned, we might need some help when it comes to quelling these two people. Number 1. For this last fact, I want to discuss about Shikaisen. For those who don't know what a Shikaisen is, they're a subcategory of a hermit. Miko, Futo, and Sega belong to the subcategory of hermits. The Shikaisen are the lowest form of immortality one can obtain. To get to this, it's required that a person fake their own death, similar to what Sega did in the last episode by substituting a bewitched object like a bamboo pole, sword, talisman, or a shoe for the corpse, or slipping a type of death certificate into the coffin of a newly departed paternal grandfather, which deletes their name and allotted lifespan. Mortals who choose this route must cut off all ties with family and friends, move to a distinct province, and enact the... this is going to be a bitch to say. Ling Bao Tai Zuen Yin Xing Zhu Fu, or the numinous treasure talisman of the grand mystery for living in hiding. Holy shit, that was a mouthful. They do this to protect themselves from heavenly retribution. The body is immortal, but so long as you can fend off some agents from the underworld, similar to once more how Sega had to deal with the being that tried to drown her in Waldenhorn Hermit. Well, knowing this is key for the next fact I'm going to be talking about. Now Miko, Futo, and Tochiko were meant to go through this process, and it worked well for Miko and Futo, but Tochiko, as you may have guessed, ended up as a ghost instead. How the hell did that turn out? Well, Tochiko had used a jar to preserve her spirit in, much in the same way Futo used a plate for hers. However, in the last minute, Futo decided to pull a scumbag Reimu and swap the jar with an unfired one, which quickly decayed, causing Tochiko to become a ghost instead. At the current moment, she doesn't have any possession being used for this process at the moment. You may be asking why Futo did such a dick move. Well, in the past, Futo and Tochiko's clan were at war with each other. Although they worked together with Miko in becoming hermits, Futo still held a grudge, and it was the reason she switched the object. Surprisingly, Tochiko is cool with being a ghost, so it's possible they're still on good terms. I mean, you don't have to walk anymore, so that's something. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. Which facts were your favorite? Would you be interested in seeing a rave in Gensokyo? Would you like to see a battle between the Tanuki and the Kitsune? Or do you think Futo was being a real douchebag there? Like always, if you guys enjoyed this episode, please give it a like and subscribe. Or else Miko might look into my past, and I don't know how I feel about that. Either way, this is Magi, and thanks again for watching.